official inaugural route. We have Brian Todd on the ground nearby. What is the situation now, Brian?
Well, Chris, the police have just moved in on the protesters again. They've pushed them another half a block away. They're now at 13th and K Streets Northwest. Come on over here and I'll show you some of the protesters have now tried to move newspaper dispensers, metal newspaper dispensers, and trash cans, trying to impede the police. They're throwing rocks and bricks at police. Police, as you can see, are responding with tear gas and flashbang rounds. So, still very tense. The police just rushed this group of protesters a short time ago, yelling, "Move back, move back." Everybody dispersed. There were people running in many, many different directions. Over here, it looks like somebody's trying to light a trash can on fire. And right behind them, you may not be able to see it, but there are smashed windows of a limousine. Drum beats are over to our right. And the police may move in if a fire starts here. We are monitoring this.
Yeah, Brian,
this intersection is particularly tense.
Brian, it's so unfortunate the police are having to deal with this. I know that you were also saying that the police were injured.
Yes, there were a couple of police injured from what we were told earlier. We are also told there have been 95 arrests made, at least during these disturbances. So the violence here in D.C. has gotten worse since the inauguration. And let me show you what's going on here. People are now gathering more en masse over here. I think we can walk a little bit closer. The police seem to have set up a barrier, a human barrier, over on the other side of the intersection. And they want these people to move back. Now people are really running back toward where we are.
Well, those flashbangs can be very effective. They are what they sound like in their description. They're loud sounds, a cloud of smoke. We've also heard that there's been some use of pepper spray. That could be very harsh. It's not tear gas, but it can certainly disperse a crowd and get you coughing very hard for a long time. We heard Renee Marsh, another reporter on the parade route, actually in that area, 12th and K, doing just that, coughing. You see someone lighting that trash can, as Brian Todd had said. The phalanx of police moving the protesters back. Let's try to get Renee Marsh. She has been on the opposite side of this near the police. Renee, where are you now and what are you seeing?
Well, I'm standing behind the riot scene where we're basically all just told to hold the line. They've gotten control of the side that I'm on. We see that the National Guard has come in as well to kind of get the situation under control. So the folks on my side, we're all lined up, and we have, again, police wearing riot gear with their shields. We've been told to hold the line exactly where we are. We have not received any instructions from them as yet, but as I look right across the street, I can see those flashbangs. I can see the National Guard. I can see as they were trying to push those protesters back and essentially get them to disperse. It seems like these protesters are extremely stubborn, despite the tear gas, despite the flashbang, and the show of force out here. It looks like they're moving, but they're moving very slowly. I do know as I look around the corner here, I can see, essentially, let me explain this to you. There's like 4 different roads that feed into this intersection, and you have officers in riot gear positioned on all 4 roads. And essentially they're having people hold the line. So as I look around the corner, I see the same situation where people are lined up, they're still, they're face-to-face with the police with the riot gear. I see a Humvee passing through the intersection. Essentially what they're trying to do here is maintain order, because I can tell you it was chaotic just seconds ago.
Yeah. We were just talking to Jonathan Wackrow, who was former Secret Service, who just gave us context on how systematic the highly trained officers that were watching are. They knew this was a possibility. They've been training for months, if not years, he said, and so they march in a line, as we can see there, and they systematically push the protesters back into a sort of more confined space where they can control them better. And we sort of have seen some of that in action. We've seen them be moved, as Brian Todd has reported to us, and I think Renee is seeing as well.
The riots are not unusual. They're not unexpected. They've been planned for. This is a nook and cranny city, so what they're going to try to do is take larger groups of protesters that turn violent and move them, disperse them down the different streets, and that will carry on. We'll monitor the extent of it. And David, even here, their voices of protest behind us right now, shouting about Trump and anti-media. This is not unexpected. It's not unseen at inaugurations past.
Yeah, I think it's important to keep some perspective. We've got a part of the city that is, roughly 10 blocks or so from the White House where you have the standoff taking place. But we've been walking around, especially since early this morning, all around downtown, closer to the Capitol, where the crowds have been under control, where law enforcement, Secret Service, and others have done a great job. And it's been a really peaceful and enjoyable and historic day. So you're going to have these flashpoints. Really, the weekend is setting up to be a time of both major celebration and major protest. We've got a major women's march here planned for tomorrow, people coming in from around the country. So along with celebration for a lot of Americans, there's a lot of dissent that's going to see, we're going to see that play out in the streets. Police are prepared for it. Along the parade route, a lot of police, a lot of military as well. So it's kind of all in the mix. And even I have not discerned, and I'm not seeing it here, sustained, organized protest. You're going to see that's planned. These seem a little bit more inchoate in terms of people setting garbage cans on fire. I'm not exactly sure what they're protesting.
And just to give some context for people who are just tuning in right now, yes, there are pockets of protests, but as you say, it has been overwhelmingly, the mood here has been excitement. We've seen people who've come in from all over the country. They've brought their parents, they've brought their grandparents who wanted to come, and there's been excitement from them, people who support Mr. Trump and people who are excited about the future, and that overwhelmingly is what we've seen since we've been walking around since 4 a.m. But, of course, there have been pockets of much quieter protests. This is the biggest, loudest, most violent one that we've seen, and at the moment it seems to be contained to that 13th and K area.
Most surprisingly, we met a lot of people who are here, not necessarily because they're big Trump fans, but because they support the process of this democracy and the transition of power.
And it's history in the making that they want to see.
They wanted to witness history. And to David's point, I've stood in a lot of these protest-turned riots. You have to know the composition. Who's there with an actual group with a real message of protest? Who are faux anarchists? Who are here just to make trouble? Who are just criminals that come to take advantage of these situations? So it's not as simple as just watching the crowd and seeing these moving scenes.
And frankly, I've been in a lot of protests around the world where, you see protesters show up, they're already wearing gas masks, and they may have, black headscarves and things like that. And, these are people who are in it to get into it with the police. They're not even holding up signs protesting against Trump. So it is what it is. I'm struck by, as Allison was saying, we were getting a cup of coffee before we came out here, and I met a couple from Scranton, Pennsylvania, former Vice President Biden's hometown. One's a doctor, one's a nurse, talking about a great day that they've had, really liked what they heard in the inaugural address from the president. And we're getting ready to line the parade route, which is what we're seeing. Weather's holding off so far. I mean, it looks like about 10 deep along the parade route, and it's a great view from behind us, looking back toward the Capitol. Really a great view.
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, where we are, this vantage point from the Capitol to the White House, it's majestic, and you feel all of the excitement. People are now cheering along the parade route. It's a real front row seat of history, and everybody here feels it that we've spoken to.
We'll start in about half an hour. We're showing you one of the many choppers that are in the sky here overhead. We've got a big team covering this inaugural parade. Anderson Cooper is with us as well. What are you seeing from where you are, my friend?
Yeah, Chris, Allison, thanks very much. We are in our rooftop location, not too far from the Capitol, where we've obviously been watching the inauguration. I'm here with Charles Ramsey, the former chief of police of Washington, D.C. We're continuing to watch what you have been reporting on. Chief Ramsey, what do you see when you look at this? I mean, how organized do you think this small protest is? How much trouble is it for the police officers and the job the police are doing?
Well, I mean, it's relatively small in terms of protest, but it's something that the police can't handle. I got off the phone just a few minutes ago with Chief Newsham, the interim chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, to find out what exactly was going on. The line you see there is actually protecting the group that's making arrests.
Chief, we actually have Chief Newsham on the phone. Chief Newsham, who's the D.C. interim police chief, he joins us. Chief, thanks so much for being with us. Explain what's going on in this area around 12th and K, now 13th and K.
Earlier today we had a small group, a little over 90 protesters that came out intent on destroying property. They broke a number of business windows, destroyed some cars. So tactically, we were able to get them into custody. The line that you see formed right there is trying to protect those officers so they're safe while they're processing the arrest. As you can imagine, when you're processing an arrest, you have your back turned. So essentially what those officers are doing is trying to protect those officers so they stay safe while they do their job.
So the line we're seeing, there are officers behind them who are processing the 90 to 95 people or so who were arrested earlier for destroying property, you're saying?
That's correct. And, Chief Ramsey knows this because he's very experienced in that regard, that it takes a little bit of time, to get people's property and to get them identified and get them, transported for arrest. And that's the process that's being undergone right now. I think it's really important to point out, in the grand scheme of things, this is a small disturbance that we have in one small part of the city. We have had thousands of people come here and successfully protest today, peacefully protest. And we anticipated that there would be a smaller group intent on, breaking the law, and we're prepared for that. And for the ones that have been throwing rocks at the officers, you can rest assured that investigatively we will identify those folks and make sure that they're held responsible as well.
Yeah, we have been pointing out all along, as we've been showing this, that this is a very isolated incident, that by and large, everything is going peacefully, and a lot of folks and a lot of families have come to this city and are enjoying this historic day, not only down by the Capitol, but walking all around the city. Chief Newsham, do you have a sense of how many protesters there are? I'm not sure if protesters is the right word, but people who are throwing things at the police, how many there are in that group who are trying to...
That's a small group. We have images from much better views. We have cameras all over the place in the city. I'm in a Joint Operations Command Center. It's a very small group. It's maybe a couple hundred. And literally we have thousands of others who are peacefully demonstrating in our city. So that is a very isolated instance. We expected this kind of thing from this particular group, and they're going to be held accountable because what we say in Washington D.C. is we agree to disagree, but we don't agree to you coming to our city and destroying our property or hurting folks.
Yeah, Chief Newsham, I know you're busy. I appreciate your time today, and we're here with Charles Ramsey, Charles Ramsey, former Chief of Police in D.C. It's something like this. It doesn't in any way, for those who want to see the parade, it does not in any way limit their ability to go see the parade, to take part in today.
No, this is outside the perimeter, so those people who are lined up along Pennsylvania Avenue, many of them probably aren't even aware that this is going on right now. So this is an isolated incident, like Pete said. The majority of people that are here to voice their displeasure on the election of the new president are doing so peacefully. The majority of people in D.C. right now are here to celebrate, and we're just trying to keep that balance and not allow anybody to get hurt or any property to be destroyed.
And a situation where you have folks who have lit some newspaper kiosk on fire. Earlier they were using those as barricades. Is that something the police just kind of, as long as it's not expanding, they try to just let it happen, or that they would actually move in to try to stop it?
Well, you don't really let it happen, but you take each situation as it develops and try to make a determination. Is it really worth moving in and just causing a bigger disturbance, resulting in more arrests, or do you let something like that go because it's not really damaging anything else? Normally what we do is we try to what we call sterilize the area, get rid of those kiosks, get rid of anything that's flammable, but you can only go out so far doing that, and this is a little ways away from the parade.
And there's looks like somebody's broken into an SUV that was
right
in that area. That's obviously another concern. The destruction of property, which we're seeing right there. Chief Ramsey, appreciate it. We're going to take a short break. Coming up, go back to the pomp and the ceremony of this really extraordinary day that we have been witnessing here in Washington. We're standing by for the start of the inaugural parade. We'll see President Trump again soon as he wraps up the launch on Capitol Hill. Much more after a quick break.